Welcome back to the 23 Morning Blend, and we'd like to welcome Paul Santoriello to the 23 Morning Blend. Paul, the name sounds like wine, doesn't it? And he is
Italian.
And he is with the Door Peninsula Winery in Door County, Wisconsin, and you got some holiday tips for wine drinkers or wine sippers here for the Christmas holidays.
Yeah, they're big holiday dinners. There's a lot of parties, office parties. What we have is an assortment of wines that we brought that you could probably find in the area, and just a few ideas for pairing food. Right away, the old guidelines for a non-wine connoisseur is fish is white and red meat is red. Yeah. Is that still kind of the guidelines, or is it? It is, but they've changed it just a little to say match the flavors with the wine with the food.
Okay.
So match your wine with your food. Really, you just keep it simple. Don't go out and buy a racy, overly big, oak-aged, high alcohol level wine to match with dinner, because you'll overpower your food. That's kind of where we're coming from.
So now it's strength versus the color necessarily, huh?
Sure. So you want to choose wines that are about 13 to 12% alcohol, just very common table wine. Something that has a little oak aging but will enhance the food. So these are food-friendly wines. They'll have some acidity to it. A couple of these today we brought. Like a blended reds and blended whites are very popular right now.
With any kind of food?
With any kind of food. And see, with Christmas, it's such a big meal that you really don't know which wine to choose, because you could have turkey, you could have roast beef, you could have ham. So you really have to keep your options open, and don't worry about a particular pairing like it has to be Chardonnay with turkey. That's kind of out the window right now.
Yeah, I've heard some people say if you like a wine, it doesn't matter what you're eating it with. Is that that kind of? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what we believe. We do a lot of food and wine pairings at the winery, at Door Peninsula Winery. And what I try to do is match the flavors on the plate with the balance and the structure of the wine. So that's what I mean is you really don't want racy wines that are very intense. And so back to the blends, lightly sweet also works with sweeter foods, like a honey glazed ham, or any kind of if you have a dried fruit within the meal in some way, because people do a lot of marinating with the fruit wines, like cherry wine and cranberry wine that I brought. And then you could use the rest of the bottle for appetizers.
Exactly.
It's that kind of inventiveness. You just have to come up with a way to think about it, because I wouldn't typically drink like a cherry wine with a big meal, because it would be kind of hidden in the background.
I see.
That's why, steak, you need a little bit more structure. That's why I would go for like a blended red like this one here that has cherry in it, but it also has a depth of Cabernet Sauvignon or something that'll match with the meat that you're eating.
Mulled wines are popular over the holiday season, and you have a mulled Christmas wine here.
Exactly. We make a mulled cherry wine. We started the spicing for you with cherry and cinnamon and nutmeg, and you can invent and do your own with
really
what you could put in, like whole allspice, juniper berries, cranberries. You can just mix it up and make it fun.
Now, is mulled supposed to be warm or served warm?
Lightly warm.
Lightly warm.
Like a very light tea. Yeah, a lot of people overboil it, and then it's kind of ruined.
What does all the spices go out of it then when it's over warm?
Yeah, and the alcohol boils out. You ruin all the fun.
Yeah, you ruin that's probably part of it. So lightly. Just on the stove top, and
traditionally they take a red wine and you add those spices to it. This wine just merely gives you a head start, and you can experiment from there, adding allspice or whatever you'd like.
So wineries are popping up, it seems like, on almost every street corner here in Wisconsin and northern Illinois. Do we have the right grapes for all this? I mean, I always, I grew up in Napa Valley, California, growing seasons longer, but we're able to, this region's been really cranking out some vineyards lately.
Yeah, we have about 91 wineries in California, or in Wisconsin, and growing, and the grapes are not from California, so you're right, we cannot grow Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnay, Riesling, these kind of things, it's too cold. Mm-hmm. So there has been a giant experimentation within the state, and we're planting grapes that are cold hardy and that can survive here. So, and clearly about the weather and the climatic regions, snow, sleet, these all tax the vine, and it's hard. It's very hard to make a good wine.
Yeah, definitely with the weather around here, you have to have a hardy grape, you have to have hardy plants, otherwise you're just not going to get a good quality.
No, and the above ground wood would suffer, your plant then diminishes and maybe it'll die. So we definitely have found fantastic grapes, St. Pepin, Lacrosse, Marquette. These are different hybrid grape varieties that can be made into delicious table wine, and so that's going on right now.
So you're not growing anything obviously anymore. So what are you doing in the winter months here? Just processing what you've...
Processing, like apple...
stomping on grapes with your bare feet?
We do a lot of apple and cherry in Door County. You visited, you see the trees and the bloom that we have. And so we're processing all that wine right now. That we take in probably 20,000 gallons of apple at all one time and use it in different wine programs. Like a little bit of apple went into this blended white here, for example.
You're always experimenting, aren't you?
I am. I'm looking at a lot of new things. It's going to be a fun year.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm sure all the vineyards in the area, 91 in Wisconsin. I know there's a bunch in northern Illinois that are popping up as well. So, most all of them are open for tours and sampling, right? Including the Door Peninsula Winery.
For sure. I would go visit your winery, and you can find us online. That's a good point. If you see something, you could do an internet search just for Door Peninsula Winery. You're a one-day ship point away.
Yeah, that's very true.
You're very close. So.
All right, so the bottom line rules for picking a wine with your holiday meal: pick something that doesn't overpower the meal, blended, and if you want something, if you got a ham, go with a little sweeter wine. If you want a turkey or something, go with a little richer.
A little richer, and then appetizers. The sweet wines are always great with appetizers. You can cook with them, and provide a variety for your guests. Like you said, it's a party. Have different tastes on the plate with different wines on the plate. You're going to experience a lot of new flavors that you haven't had before. So.
We've got our station and holiday pizza party this afternoon.
Perfect. What time?
To 12:30, 1 o'clock. You leave a bottle of wine for us here? What do you recommend?
Oh, the blended red. Red for sure. Look at that one.
Yeah, you come on by. Yeah, we'll set you up at a table right here, and you can just pour them out. We'll even give you a piece of pizza.
Perfect.
Thank you, Paul, and thank Paul Santoriello from the Door Peninsula Winery in Door County joins us here with some wine ideas for the holidays and the New Year's as well, I'm sure.